Good evening, Tony Dattino doing my live with Tony on Wednesday. I just cannot keep up with the days of the week anymore. They just come flying by quicker than I can keep track of them. And today is September 15th, which is even harder to believe. But as I said to you on the Monday broadcast, I had been reading several articles in the health section of the Journal News here in Westchester County, Florida. And there were a couple of articles as we're getting ready for recyclables. We're making a little bit of noise there. But in any case, a couple of articles that I thought were just really, really helpful. And the one I want to talk about today is just starting exercise in your 60s. So it raises the question, is it ever too late to begin doing exercise? So if you're in your 60s, it's not too late to give your heart the benefits of a regular workout. So it says, this is talking about the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute on how to live well with your heart. Researchers have found that survival rates among heart patients who became active later in life were nearly the same as those who had been exercising for years. So researchers found that your survival rate, if you were a heart patient, but you were active later in life, your benefits were nearly as good as those who were exercising for life, which when I read that, I said, my goodness, I've been exercising for the last 40 years, 50 years. The hell have I been doing? It's like, my goodness, I could have waited till I was 60. Continuing an active lifestyle over the years is associated with greater longevity, says the head of the University of Bern. Patients with heart disease can overcome prior year inactivity and obtain survival benefits by taking exercise up later in life, like over 60 years old. A new study that included 33,000 patients that were averaged 62 years old. So I'd say 33,000 is a significant study group. And an average age of 62 and a half would also be a significant age. And I always say it doesn't really matter your age in terms of your mental health and your physical health and your exercise and nutrition, but the sooner you start, the better you are. But here was this study group of 33,000 people, 62 years, and they would follow them, who were followed for at least 7 years. So these were people that got tracked for at least 7 years and saw what they were able to accomplish. Patients were divided into 4 groups. So now we're doing our study, right? We're going to do this into 4 different groups. So what do you think they would be? Those who were inactive over the 7 years. So if you didn't do much over the 7 years, that was group number 1. Number 2 was you were active over time. Number 3, you had increased activity over time. So you increased it, meaning you were active, but no, this third group was, but you increased your activity over a period of time. And the 4th group was you decreased your activity over time. So it's an interesting study. Active was defined, so now this is key here. Active is defined as 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity activities, or 75 minutes of rigorous activity, or a mix of the two. So I run every other day, 25 minutes, 3 days a week. I used to do 20 minutes, 4 days a week, but I've cut it back to 3 at 25. So I'm doing 75. This would say wonderful. And then 150 minutes. So 75 of vigorous, plus another 75 of other activity, walking, gardening, doing some flexibility exercises. So 150 minutes of exercise. And then we compare the patients who were inactive over that same period of time. So who was inactive during that 7 years? And the risk of death from all causes was 50% lower in those who were active over this period of 7 years. So the risk of dying is significantly reduced. It's like, wow, isn't that terrific? The risk of early death was 45% lower in the inactive folks who became active. So there's a hope for everybody there. So, for example, if you were inactive and then you started at age 60 and you started to put some of this intensity in it, some of this exercise and activity in it, you would find that, my goodness, 20%, the risk of early death was 45% lower
and 20% lower in active folks. So if you've been inactive and started working out, you had a 40% lower chance. But if you're already active, you increase your chances of early death by 20%. Similar results were observed in other groups, but compared to the inactive folks, so compared to the inactive, the risk was 51% lower among those who stayed active and 27% for those whose activity increased. Now, what does that mean? It means if you increase, you were starting out at a baseline of, let's just say, 10 minutes of activity, and you went to 15, then you increase your activity. That was a good thing. If you started out at 20 and you went to 25, that was a good thing. If you were at intensity 75 minutes and a week, and you've maintained that, then you still had a significant benefit of not dying of an early death. The risk of death whose activity decreased was not statistically different from those who were inactive. These encouraging findings highlight how patients may benefit by preserving or adopting a physically active lifestyle. On the other hand, the benefits of activity can be weakened or lost if the activity is not sustained or maintained. The findings illustrate the benefits to patients of being physically active regardless of their previous habits. What do we know about our memories? Just starting at 60. Just starting at 60. I'm trying to get that for you there. Just starting at 60. Two great articles in this past Sunday's newspaper. Pays to read newspapers, even our copy. The benefits of exercise and just starting and maintaining some level of it. The benefits accrue to yourselves and life expectancy. And this ties to mental health. And this is how I got interested in all these, looking for what are the elements that can help us with our mental fitness, our cognitive well-being. Another word could be memory. When you ask people what they think of in terms of mental health or cognitive well-being, the first word that pops up into most minds are memory. How do I improve my memory? So I kind of sometimes use those interchangeably depending upon my audience. But the fact of the matter is, the research that we've been doing for over 20 years now and having the USA Memory Championship is all based on the fact of what can humans do to improve their mental health, their physical well-being as well, and their memories. Since memory seems to be a concern that so many people have today, and the growth of, unfortunately, of Alzheimer's and dementia and impairments, what is it we can learn about the human mind and what it can learn that can help people make a huge difference in their ability to live a longer life with more mental capacities as well as physical. And here's more research that says, my God, they track these people over 77 years and look at the difference that they found in the results over these 7 years of people who are active. So stay with us on this. I keep reading this. I keep trying to share it with my Live with Tony audience. If I can touch people on a regular basis, if I could get one person every broadcast just to make a difference in their lives and habits and behaviors, then it's worth it, and I will just keep on doing them. So I appreciate getting the Facebook notes back. I appreciate those that listen to this on a regular basis as well. And if anybody wants to reach me on a personal level, it's always adottino@aol.com. That's adottino@aol.com. And I always appreciate those personal notes, which is why I maintain my personal email on AOL. So people can reach me as quickly as possible if they want to have any type of exchange of communication in any fashion where I can make a difference. So this is my Wednesday broadcast. We have our next USA Memory Championship meeting on Friday, and things are moving along. So have a good week, and we'll see you on Friday.